Story time! So there was this one girl in 7th grade, let's call her Lexi. Lexi was a pick-me girl. She was always like, boys are less drama, you know. And Lexi used to sit next to me in class. And I was throwing a Halloween party later this week. I decided to write a list of what we're gonna be doing at the party in class while Lexi's sitting next to me. She looks over at my notebook and sees it. And she was like, I'm invited, right? I looked at her and I just didn't say anything because I didn't want to tell her she's not. She got really excited and was like, I'm gonna be wearing a devil costume. Actually, no, I want to be the angel. And at the end of class, she told me to send her the location and information on her Instagram. And I remembered that Lexi had a lot of spam accounts and accounts she doesn't use. So I decided to send her the information on one of the accounts she doesn't use. 2 days later, I get a message from Lexi. She sent me a message from one of her real accounts. Then she told me that I forgot to send her the info for the party. I told her that I did send the location, but on her other account, and that I didn't know she stopped using it. Lexi didn't believe me, so I sent her a screenshot. Then I told her that since she didn't confirm, she can't come to the party because I had a limit of 20 people. Lexi got really mad and started calling me mean stuff, that I'm rude and forgetful. And then Lexi blocked me not just on Instagram, but on Snapchat and TikTok. Of course, I didn't care and just went on with my day. Fast forward to the next day, which was the day of my party. Things were going great. Me and my friends had an amazing time. But after an hour, I get a phone call from a random number. I didn't answer, number one, because the music was too loud and I was too busy with my friends. Maybe 10 to 15 minutes pass, and that number calls me again. Here's part 3. So I handed my phone to my friend and let her answer the phone. She told me that there was a person waiting for me in front of the house. I, of course, didn't want to go outside alone, so I let my friend Jason come out with me. As soon as we arrived to the front of the house, we see Lexi and her mother sitting next to her in her car. I just stood there in disbelief, not knowing what to do. Lexi got out of the car, looked at me and rolled her eyes, then looked at Jason and started talking to him. She was like, hey Jason, do you miss me? Jason, can I come in? And Jason didn't know what to say, but he said yes. And Lexi had the audacity to show up to my party after she blocked me on all of my social media. Lexi stayed with Jason and Jason's friend. I couldn't enjoy my night anymore after that.
In my opinion, miraculous is a tiny bit overrated. I mean, sis, don't get me wrong, I ain't no hater, but it's the same in every freaking episode. You know, someone gets angry, then they get akumatized by Hawkmoth. Then Ladybug and Cat Noir come to the rescue and fight a little bit, and then Ladybug uses her, lucky charm, and then they win. Then Hawkmoth, at the end of every single episode, is like, I will get you next time, Cat Noir and Ladybug. Just you wait and see. Miss Girl! Well, it better be soon, Hawkmoth. It's been like 100 episodes, and you ain't even been close. Get your game face on. Get your game face on. He's a little bit of a bitch.
Teachers be like, oh, you can't wear makeup, you can't wear jewellery, you can't dress how you want, you can't paint your nails, you can't do this, you can't do that, blah, 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 blah. And if you live in the UK, you'll know that on the 8th of March, we're going back to school after the lockdown. Over that lockdown, I've been wearing makeup, I've been wearing whatever clothes I want, I've been painting my nails, I've been wearing jewellery. Has it affected my learning in any way? No. And then teachers come back saying oh, but we need to set the boundaries somewhere. We'll set the boundaries somewhere. Make boundaries. But let teenagers express themselves. Wearing a necklace will not affect my learning. All of a sudden, oh no, I painted my nails white. Oh my god, all of a sudden, wait, what's 2 plus 2? I don't even know. Let me take the nail polish off. Right, now I know what 100 times 1 million is. Oh, yippee!
So we all know every school has a bully. At my school, our bully was Brayton Smith. Everyone was scared of him because he was known to enjoy beating people up. Sometimes it seemed like even adults were scared of him too. I was terrified of Brayton, so I just got smart and became his friend. It wasn't always easy being Brayton's friend though. He punched me for no reason, I had to laugh at all of his jokes or he'd give me the look, and he always ate my lunches. But it was worth it. At least I didn't have to worry about him beating me up like other kids did. But one day, Brayton and our classmate Zai started teasing each other. Zai's jokes were so funny, and I chuckled at one of them. I looked at Brayton and Brayton was giving me the look. He told me to come here and I did because he's my friend. Then he put a pencil on his shoulder and said, "Knock the pencil off." I thought it was a joke, so I knocked the pencil off.
911, what's your emergency?
I think I ate someone.
I'm sorry?
I'm on a spiritual fitness retreat at the big closing feast, and our instructor, Tony, said that this meal was going to be like the climax of his service to our bodies.
Uh-huh.
So we're all eating like a lot of meat, and then I realized, like, where's Tony?
Okay.
And then I thought, oh my God, the thing that I'm eating looks a lot like a hand.
Could it have been something else?
No, because the hand was attached to an arm, and the arm had a tattoo, and the tattoo said Tony time. That's Tony time tattoo.
Oh, okay. Where are you?
I think I liked it.
Please just tell me where you are.
Tony was falling off the bone.
Okay, just take a breath.
Oh, they're bringing out dessert.
Ma'am, don't.
I have to. I'm sorry. It's so good.
Ma'am, do not.
I'm going in.
Ma'am?
It's Tony time.
So when I was in 4th grade, slime was really popular. It was so popular to the point everyone was making it and people would trade their slimes all the time. I was one of those people. I also did YouTube videos and some of the kids from my school would watch them. I basically did slime tutorials and I would sell my slimes for 50 cents. One time I got a comment from this girl named Augusty Musty. She commented on my video saying how she wanted to buy the slime I made. I said yes, of course. The next day at recess we both met behind the basketball courts. I brought the slime she asked for and told her that it would cost 50 cents. She only brought a quarter. She kept demanding me to give her the slime for a quarter, so I had enough. I slapped that in the head with the slime and the slime got stuck in her hair. I started putting more slime in her hair. Then when it was all in there I yanked the slime out. I swear I ripped so much hair out of her head that she looked like an egg. Her hair came out in clumps and it looked like she had lice and fleas. I pulled her hair so hard it made her shart. She pulled the most clumpy, Donald Trumpy, very lumpy, made her grumpy, Humpty Dumpty, smelled like a dumpy, made roads bumpy, made me thinky, it smelled stinky, made the boys winky, marker inky, wanna linky, I ran far, hit her with a car, went to the bar, twinkle twinkle little star, gave her scars, smoked cigars, sounded like a jaguar, went to Mars, ever seen. She went to the hospital and she turned out to have bowel cancer.
Story time about my psychotic best friend. So we're gonna call this girl Gia. So a little background information. This all happened whenever I was in 9th grade. I saw Gia sitting at this lunch table alone and I invited her to come sit with my friends and I. And after talking to her, I found out that she was a new student and she didn't have any friends. So her and I started hanging out and we became really close. Like she would come over my house 24/7. Well, my older sister was a grade above us and she would act really weird around her. And by weird, I mean like she would always make fun of me in front of my sister. And weirdly enough, try to cause problems between us. My sister didn't really like her. She thought that she was weird. But because she was my friend, she was being super nice to her. Well, like a month later, she started trying to become best friends with my sister. Like any conversation she would have, I would be like, oh, do you want to come over? She would be like, no, sorry, I'm hanging out with your sister today. And I would go home and I would be like, hey, are you hanging out with Gia today? And my sister would be like, what are you talking about? Like for part 2. Part 2 about my psychotic best friend. So like I said, my sister was like, no, what are you talking about? So at this point, I'm thinking, oh, this girl's really weird. But it gets even worse. She comes over my house one day to hang out with me and goes in my sister's room the whole time. My sister dyed her hair black, so what does she do? She dyes her hair black too. The obsession was like really weird. Anyway, so the one night that Gia's over, yes, I still had her over after this because I didn't think it was really weird at the time. My sister had her boyfriend over and they were in the living room watching a movie, and the whole time Gia is begging me to go in the living room and watch the movie with them. So I'm like, fine, whatever, we'll do that. We go into the living room, we all sit on the couch, and my couch is kind of small, so like we all had to squish. So she sits next to my sister's boyfriend. Well, my sister's boyfriend got up and started freaking out. Well, turns out that Gia was trying to touch him under the blanket. So I told her to leave. Next day, I got a whole paragraph of her saying that she just wanted to be like my sister because she never had an older sister.
Story of the time I backed into somebody's car. And this happened yesterday, and I'm a little bit heated still. So I was leaving the mall, and I had in the car with me 4 of my friends. I looked behind me and there were no cars, and the mall was closing, and usually when the mall closes, people just drive crazy because they're just trying to get out of there. So I start inching out of the spot, and all of a sudden somebody starts honking their horn, and that's when I realized that I backed into somebody, very gently, but still nonetheless I did back into them. So I pull into the spot again, and I get out of my car, and right off the bat the guy comes out of the car and starts screaming in my face. I will not be repeating word for word what this disrespectful man was saying to me, but I'll try to say it without the curses so you can get a gist. Let me give you an image of what he looked like first. He was probably in his late 50s. He was wearing baggy jeans and a baggy t-shirt, and you could tell by his voice that he was definitely from New York. Oh, and he also had this gigantic Bluetooth earpiece on his ear. So he gets out of the car and he goes, "What's wrong with you? Are you mentally ill? Or are you just blind?" Story of the time I backed into somebody's car and they went off on me. Part 2 while I mix all of my colored acrylics together. So he gets out of his car and he immediately starts cursing and screaming at me. He asked me if I had a mental illness or if I'm just blind. Then he proceeded to tell me that I shouldn't have my license and that I'm a danger to be on the road. Which is absolutely ridiculous because he came out of absolutely nowhere, turned the corner real quick while I was backing out, which caused me to hit him. And because of the way he was exploding at me, I figured the best solution to this was to just be really nice to him and to just apologize. So to every single thing he said, I basically agreed with him. I was like, yeah, no, maybe I do have a mental illness. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't be driving on the road. Yeah, maybe I don't deserve my license. Basically repeating him so that he realized what he was saying was really messed up. But this man wouldn't stop. He was on the phone with his wife through his Bluetooth speaker thing on his ear, and I had asked him if I could just give him cash so our insurances wouldn't have to go up because I had a lot of cash on me. But instead of responding directly to me, he would respond to his wife. He was like, "This idiot thinks we're not going to call the cops on her."